So today we're going to take a look at what happens after you close. So this is like post closing. Once you've closed, what should you do at the closing table? What stuff should you have together? Should you have a closing packet, which you should? We're going to go over what that could be and some things you can do to keep track of your clients, not only sending them like a yearly reminder or birthday, but some other things you can do and some things you can give value at closing that would help them be able to, have a copy of everything and all that kind of stuff. We'll go over all that. This is Andrew Morin. If you're new to the channel, welcome. We do a lot of real estate trainings for realtors across the United States and Canada. Feel free to share, tell us any next videos you want. If you're not part of the family yet, please like and subscribe so we can keep you going and moving, and we'll get you all set up. Talk to you soon. Here we go. And then we're going to keep rolling. So the first thing I'm going to go over is for buyers. Okay, so this would be the closing packet. Now, I can already hear people saying this is what the title company gives you anyway. Not all of it. A lot of times your final closing disclosure that is given by the title company, yes. I recommend putting that aside in a separate folder. So I'll kind of preface this by saying I usually have a folder branded to my brokerage, whatever your broker would be, and you have that in there. Have that with you in your folder so that your client can have it. Of course, you have all the big stack of closing documents. The closing disclosure, the final CD, it's very important, especially in Texas, to get certain things done to prove that you've bought the home. You need that, for example, if you go to USPS to get your keys, if your mailbox is part of a subdivision, you need that to show to get your keys, things like that. So this would be very important to have ready to go. And then I would get a copy of it. When they make a copy, ask the title company to make you a copy of a signed one as well. And a lot of times you need this anyway for your brokerage to upload to your closing packet so you can get paid. Also, you need a copy of all the executed documents. Don't have to wait for title. You can just print these off before closing, have them in there. You should have a home warranty. So this is really, really good to have for the home warranty to set up. So for example, if you do, I don't know, like First American Home Warranty, there's a bunch of other ones out there. This just comes to the top of my head. If you do whatever the home warranty is you're doing, and you're going to be looking at doing the home warranty type, have it ready to go. Have a book, have a thing. I always try to put together this home maintenance guide, which is I downloaded from a home warranty site, and I put this in there. And it shows you like all the basic home maintenance you can do for everything. A lot of people don't know very basic, simple things. You can, clean off the dust. It sounds silly, but some people have never had a home. They don't know. They don't know that you have to clean the lint. They don't know about something simple. They don't know what happens if the garage door doesn't open. What can be blocking it? All these simple little things. They don't know that in the garage disposal, you can go in there and there's a reset button. You can hit a button and reset it if it ever stops. You don't have to pay someone to come out. You don't have to pay $100 for the claim. So all that is some different options you can do with the home warranty information. Highly recommend doing that. People love that. And then make sure you set up a call with your home warranty representative in the area so they can go over the services they have, how it works, what is and is not covered, because you think everything is covered, but it's not. Make sure you cover what's covered and what's not and go through it all. It's up to you. I like having the utility transfer guide, but again, that's up to you if you want to do that or not. If you have the utility transfer guide, that helps clients a lot for your area. Now, like this is a Move Concierge program they have. I just put a number of one that I know in Texas here in our area. These can be all over the United States. And what they do is you connect them, there's no charge, and they will talk to your clients, give them all the options in the area for all the different types of utilities in the area. Some places have more than one electrical company. You have multiple different water, all that kind of stuff. Trash company where I live, we have 2 or 3 different trash companies we can choose. All that's in there. It's important to have that. You can either give that number, use the same number I'm giving you here, the 469-329-0930, 0930. I don't get anything out of it, just sharing a good contact that I have. Make sure if you don't have the HOA already in there, the documents, put it in there. Have the survey separate from the packet and make an extra copy and put it with the CD. You use that a lot. If you've had a home inspection report, go through and get a copy of that and put it again in your other extra folder. Print that home inspection off so they know anything that wasn't fixed. They know they need little things, the honeydew list, I call it. If all the big 5 are fixed and they only have to worry about the honeydew, this will let them know what that is. and also a copy of the appraisal if it's available. You should be able to get that. Just tell the lender, my clients want a copy of the appraisal, please. Can you send me a copy? Have it printed off and put in your folder. That lets them know what their house is worth, and you can go from there. This is what I call, your main documents to include. Now, if you want to, here's some informational things that I like to put in there as well. So in Texas, you can file your homestead exemption anytime. You don't have to wait till the first of the year. You can file it right when you close. You do want to wait about 30 days to file it so that it has time for people to send the deed to the county and all that kind of stuff, so it gets registered and all that jazz. Title does that automatically for you. You don't have to worry about that. But you do want to wait 30 to 45 days when you send it out. So one thing that lets you keep in track of your clients is have the homestead exemption guide ready to go. Have it printed off and filled out. All the client has to do is sign it. Have a letter with you, ready to roll. Have it already pre-labeled, stamped, everything. They sign it, give it to you. You tell them, I'm going to send this out in 45 days or 30 days. And then 30 days later, makes you a good reason to call your client and be like, hey, I'm sitting out the homestead. How do you like the house? How's everything going? Do you have anyone else looking to buy or sell? Use it to milk it and get referrals. Easy way to kind of go through that way and get some more deals coming out of yourself. This is a good option, a good example, a very easy reason to call your client is for the homestead. Same for property tax. Make sure you have details of when they're paid. Usually it's right at the end of the year in December or January 1st. That's why they usually want them paid in November, December, all that kind of stuff. I already showed you the maintenance guide. That really makes your life easy. My clients have loved that. That's like the favorite thing that they've loved because it's so simple and easy to read. Have a local contact list. This should be from your own vendors, like all your handyman, plumber, electrician. Again, this, if they have a home warranty, a lot of this is covered, but also have a separate one on the side. Some home warranties are willing to give a cash value or a cash out, they call it, where you can pay and say, okay, I'm going to have my home warranty pay me this much instead. And then you don't need to worry about it. And then the home warranty gives you cash. You can hire your own person. And then sometimes you can save money and keep the difference. It's up to you. Have a guide to homeowner insurance. Get a homeowner insurance guide. Talk to your local insurance company, whichever one you like to use for your clients, and get a copy of the homeowner insurance. And then also a change of address is really good for them if they haven't done that yet. And then, of course, the main thing you got to remember, they have to change utilities quickly when they buy a home. And when they sell it, they want to make sure they leave it on for a couple days. Don't be the kind of seller that cuts them off the second you close and the buyer doesn't have time to move in and turn them on. Give them a couple days, be nice. And then you can have this. So if you have this in a nice closing packet and just have this paperwork, these are your core papers that your client's going to want. The rest of the closing packet's important. They can put this folder with the other ones, but these are the main things: your CD, your survey, your home inspection, things that they're going to need right away and use often. Pretty much the CD and survey are the main things most people use a lot. And that's your buyer one. Now the seller one is very similar. You would do the same thing, get a packet. So again, final settlement statement, closing disclosure, all docs. And then this one, you could have your payoff statement if you want. Excuse my little misspells. You could have your payoff statement from title. You could get any title transfer documents, which I would recommend showing that all these are going to be sent over from the title to the county. Utility transfer, same thing. HOA cancellations, it should be happening already, but it's good to have the number for their current HOA to call. Let them know, hey, I'm sold. I've done everything's good. It's all paid up. And maybe even get the HOA to send a letter that says we're paid in full. Something like that is great. Guide for tax purposes. So this would be, again, if you have to do the sale for the 1099-S, title company can help you know which form you need. But this would be if you have to report, you could have a guide on that, what needs to be reported, what doesn't, if it's a foreign national or if, FinFan, all that kind of stuff that's happening. You also a change of address, what to expect after closing, and then a moving checklist. Moving checklists are great. If you need one, we can throw one in here. You can easily get this from AI if you need. Just build a moving checklist. It's great if you have both of these together. Now, another simple thing to do, I'm going to grab a little personal touch one to show you some ideas. Once you, do, even though people like a gift, like custom keychain, welcome home doormat, just anything like that you want to get, Some people go all out and get like I've seen them do grills, TVs, all that. Some agents I know buy two or three of these things together. And the reason they're having a lot of closings, they're going to pay a lot of taxes. So if they can buy these not gifts, but as a part of their marketing, you can write that off as marketing, and then you can have this. So make sure you have a handwritten note, write it by hand onto the computer. It shows a little bit more effort, and you can send that out. I usually wait about a week or two for after closing, send it out, thank them. Through a couple of weeks after that, if they're a buy side, you'll reach out, do the homestead, things like that. And then maybe a nice file organizer. Now, if you want to do that, you can. I do a folder with my broker on it, but you could do a nice little organizer and have it all waterproof and everything like that, depending how high speed you want to do. Now, some branding tips. Use branded folders, I mentioned before, and make sure you have business cards in there. Offer a referral program. So say, hey, if you refer your clients, remember in Texas, we can do up to $50 referral program for non-realtors. So you can do things like that, whatever you're going to need, and then include a testimonial request. Ask to have a QR code. Ask them for that. Ask for Google My Business. Make sure you have a Zillow, whatever you use. I know Rate Your Agent. A lot of agents like Rate Your Agent to use that. That's okay, but it doesn't show on your Google My Business. That's what a lot of people see and check when they search the internet. They don't search Rate My Agent. That's more for agents to look at. So make sure you're not putting all your reviews there and not on your Google page. And then have all that. And have that set to go and all that, kind of loaded up and ready to roll. Now, this is kind of an agent closing checklist. You can build this again with AI if you want. So again, if you're looking at this kind of goes through the whole thing. And then we're talking about this post-close. Confirm with the title, keys, remotes, access, everything needs to be done that way. Thank you messages sent, review request items, follow-up schedule. All that can be put together and loaded up. So just remember when you're doing this and it's loaded up that this is what needs to happen. So once you had a closing, make sure to take the time to go through, like here's the seller and then there's the buyer. Make sure to take the time to go through and put these together. Clients really appreciate the extra thought, the extra little value, because they're going to be a little overwhelmed. They're getting ready to move. They're packing. All that is really important. Hope that's helpful. Talk to you in the next video.